Greta Thunberg, the power of being different. Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the channel where we talk about motivation, personal growth, and people who inspire. Today we're going to talk about a young woman who's been on the cover of magazines, spoken at the UN, and mobilized millions of people around the world. But the most incredible part of her story is that her power doesn't come from fame, money, or political influence. It comes from her ability to channel a personal challenge into a global cause. Today, we're talking about Greta Thunberg, an activist who not only fights for the planet, but also shows us that Asperger syndrome isn't a limitation, but, in her own words, her superpower. Are you ready to be inspired? Let's dive in. Greta was born in Sweden in 2003. At the age of 8, she first learned about climate change. And like many people with Asperger's, her way of processing information is deep, logical, and persistent. While others forgot about it within minutes, she couldn't stop thinking about it. How could adults do nothing? She wondered. By age 15, she decided to take action. She began protesting alone in front of the Swedish parliament with a sign that said, "Schools strike for climate." What seemed like a small act turned into a global movement, Fridays for Future, which now brings together millions of young people in over 100 countries. Greta has been very open about her diagnosis of Asperger syndrome, a form of autism that can affect social communication but also gives a unique way of seeing the world. For many, this diagnosis might feel like a disadvantage. But Greta made a different choice. What others saw as rigidity, she turned into determination. What others called obsession, she transformed into unstoppable focus. Where others gave in to social pressure, she stood firm, even when mocked by politicians and public figures. In her own words, Greta said, "Being different is a gift. In a crisis, we need to think differently." That's a powerful lesson for all of us. Don't apologize for who you are, use it as your advantage. One of Greta's most inspiring messages is that one person can make a difference. She wasn't famous. She didn't have resources or a big platform at the beginning. She just had a deep conviction and wasn't afraid to act. Her example teaches us something essential. You don't need thousands of followers to start something important. You just need to start with what you have from where you are. What if Greta had said, "Who am I to do anything?" Sometimes, change starts with a single voice. And if you believe in your cause, the world will eventually listen. Greta's story gives us powerful lessons for our own personal growth. Here are 4 key takeaways you can apply to your life, starting today. 1. Use your difference as a strength. Greta didn't hide her Asperger's, she embraced it. What part of yourself are you seeing as a weakness that might actually be your strength? 2. The power of consistency. Greta doesn't just speak, she acts. She changed her diet, stopped flying, and lives by what she preaches. Consistency is a form of leadership. 3. Be persistent, even if you're alone. At first, no one joined her, but she kept going. Pushing forward without applause builds character. 4. Believe in the impact you can make. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wait for the right time. Start today with what you have. What makes Greta so powerful is not that she's perfect. It's that she's authentic. She doesn't try to fit in. She doesn't try to please. She simply believes in something with her whole heart, and that's what connects her to millions of people. Here's another key lesson. People don't follow those who do everything right. They follow those who do it with heart. So if you have a cause, a goal, a dream, don't wait to be perfect. Be authentic. That's your greatest strength. Greta Thunberg is not a myth. She's a real person with fears, challenges, and a condition many don't understand. But she didn't let that stop her. She used all of it as fuel for her cause. Now the question is, what are you doing with your challenges? What cause could you channel your energy into? If this story inspired you, give it a like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need a motivational boost. And remember, the world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more real people, committed and willing to act. See you in the next video.